whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Lindores. Lindores Abbey, a Lowland single malt Scotch whiskey, the Casks of Lindores, and this is the limited edition bourbon release. So 49.4% ABV, 11,000 bottles for a limited release. I think it's fairly large. And this follows on the heel of the commemorative release, which they just put out as their first release then in the summer of 2021. This is Whiskybase number 193472, and over here at the moment, in Europe and Germany, it goes for a price of 65 euros. All right, so I'm going to pull out the original release here. Doom, doom, doom. So this is the original release, and also Lowlands. This is with bourbon, sherry, and wine barriques, and this is only bourbon. So now, I personally like this one. This was the inaugural release. It's a better word for that. And I was pleasantly surprised. Now, in the year 2021, there were a few different distilleries that entered the market. Todabeg entered the market here in Germany. Nick Need was one of the first ones. Lindores Abbey. For me, I had the first Annandale. Maybe they were there before. Atnamochen was the first time I had it as well. Maybe they were also 2020. I don't know. Bimber I've had for a few years, so that doesn't count. And a few other things I'm probably forgetting. But there's a lot of things going on in the whiskey world at the moment. And so we need to kind of carve out our niche here. And Lindores Abbey did it. And I'm just going to read the back of the bottle. It says here, as with all our bottlings, this limited edition is bottled at the distillery without chill filtration or added color. By purchasing this bottle, you have contributed to the preservation of Lindores Abbey, the spiritual home of Scotch whiskey. Thank you. That's the founder here that wrote that. Now, to be very honest, I do not believe, my personal belief, that Lindores Abbey is the true spiritual home of Scotch whiskey. What do I mean? They are the first recorded and still found evidence that there was Ishkaba, the spirit of life that was made there. Now, I am very, very certain that someone else before that had already distilled something. Now, what we have here is a purchase order for some certain bales of grain to make some spirit and so on. So it was a purchase order. And this purchase order had been somehow, luckily, preserved over the hundreds of years. And we have now physical evidence that that was that. But I personally believe that it was someplace else. Who knows? Maybe Ireland, maybe Scotland, maybe even in the Orient that first made our wonderful Ishkaba, our spirit of life, distilled grain product. And of course, back then it was different than today with all our regulations about wood and oak and length and so on and so on. So my personal thing is I don't care. The same thing is like no one's gonna really claim who first made bourbon. Yeah, I mean, hey, Elijah Craig tried to do it, and Evan Williams tried to do it, and so on and so on. But hey, those legends and those little types of marketing fantasies, legends, are just something marketing. So, but Lindores Abbey has that. Now, Dr. Jim Swan, he helped create this distillery. They're making good juice. Full stop. Absolutely, my opinion. But what surprised me, you heard the but, is how quickly this next edition here appeared on the shelves. Now, we have here the first edition. That was here, Whiskybase number 185188. That was from June of 2021, 40,000 bottles of this. This sold for 44 euros 90, so 45 euros. This is 50% more. This is 65 euros, 20 euros on top. This is 11,000 bottles. This is 40,000 bottles. This is now on sale at many shops in Germany because it's not moving. They want to get rid of it because new product is coming and it's more expensive. Now, I thought that was an excellent, excellent thing that they did with Lindors. They actually put so much product in the market that the flippers didn't earn anything. It was like, oh, I'm going to buy 10 bottles and put it on eBay, which we can do in Germany. We can sell as a private person. Wow, who would have thought about that on eBay and flip these bottles in secondary market and so on? And people tried to do that and they got burnt with Lindors because the commemorative with the labels and the numbers, they were exactly the same juice that we have here and just a labeled bottle. And then we now have, this came out actually in the end of October, so it reached the shores of Germany in December. The next one, and it's like, wait a second, that's quick. Are they overdoing this? Are they pushing the ball a little bit too quickly up the hill? It's going to roll back down and flatten us all? That was my first initial thought. Wow, that was quick. All right, so the second thing is why just a pure bourbon? Now, I did a Zoom tasting with all the other influencers, and I actually wasn't involved as an influencer. I am actually registered as an online whiskey local retailer because I do sell whiskey bottles for this, and I was as a retailer. I was there, and I actually was able to taste, and we had a deconstruction set of this. Basically, we had the new make and so on, and the bourbon, really everyone liked it the best. Some people like the bourbon even better than this one. I like this one better than I did this, but hey, that's just me. All right, and so they asked, hey, please give us just a pure bourbon, a real true traditional bourbon, then bottling. Ta-da, we have it. Now, I'm not sure. Once again, I'm trying to nail this point home also to Lindors. Why 20 euros more? Yeah, so it's 11,000 bottles is not really a limited release, a limited edition. It's just a normal batch size. All right, so sorry. And so that's one of my questions is that's a lot of money. If you would have went for 45 for the original and then 49, yeah, I wouldn't even thought about it. But 20 euros, basically 50% more. Is it going to taste 50% better? And that's the question we ask ourselves. Yeah. And if you're doing too many releases too quickly back to back, you might get burnt. You might not be able to establish yourself as a credible new market brand. All right, so on the nose, I do get a youthfulness. I do get a much spirit forwardness. I do get alcohol. I get a little bit of almonds. I get a little bit of vanilla. I get a little bit of a citrus type of zest here. I smell opportunity. I smell a possibility that this whiskey is going to be very, very nice in the future, but not yet. In comparison, I like this much better. I like the red wine. I like the sherry. I like the combination of the bourbon. I like the depth. I like the complexity. This smells young. This smells okay. This smells rushed. And this smells like it's something that actually is ready. Ah, my fears have been confirmed, more or less. Cheers. 49.4%, 46. Why 49.4? Apparently someone said it's not going to be 50, it's not going to be 48, it's not going to be 46, it's going to be 49.4. And because they hopefully tasted this and tried it and said, oh, that's the best. Hopefully they picked the best. Cheers. It's very young. There's a little bit of that's really weird. It's somewhat young, and it's still somewhat of a woody oakiness in there, almost like a barrel char. And it's that tannin type of like a walnut skin or almond skin bitter moment. It's not my favorite whiskey. I'm gonna give this a C minus, D plus. It's just not there. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to try to dilute it down to its partner here, 46%. and I'm going to see what happens. So I'm going to first of all go over here. So it's all natural color. You can see the difference in color. All right, so you see this is the importer, and you can see this. All right, you can actually see the difference here in the two. That's the red wine, that's a sherry going on here. And yeah, thank you very much for having a non-chilled filter. Thank you very much that it's natural color. I would have thanked you very much had you left it in the barrels maybe for another 2 years or so. I don't know. I like this so much better. Hmm. The first thing that I really get is mouthfeel, creaminess. The second thing I get is berries. I get a fruitiness. I get a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of sulfur, but I get a fruitiness. I get those berries. I get that vanilla. I get that maltiness. I get the complexity and the different layers here. And I don't have the feeling of this being young. I have the feeling of this being ready, okay, good. I think you hit on the nail with this one. This is almost a C to this is a C to almost a C plus whiskey here, which is great for that youth and for that price for 45 euros for the first bottling. Excellent. Go buy another one. Um, this is actually on sale at the moment in Germany. A lot of online shops for 40 euros now because hey, we need to get rid of our stock and we need to have room for the new stuff. Very, very well done. I like that. And yet, the second bottling is such a, I'm going to use the word disappointment for me. I really expected, I really hoped that I would have a better experience here, but it's just not. It's just not, I'm going to use the word again, ready. And that's my problem here. So I had a, whoops, Lindores. So I interviewed Tim Foster from Lindores Abbey at the end of November in Bremen. It's a 19-minute video. He talked a lot about the history. He talked a lot about the brand. He talked a lot about what Dr. Jim Swan did to have excellence, excellence, excellence. And I really, really think that they are going to have a very bright future. But with this bottling at this taste quality, I'm disappointed. That's the only word I can use, disappointed. So 1494 is where they have the first written proof of aqua vitae Ushkaba. Very, very spirit forward. Now, for some reason, I don't understand, but for some reason, the Compass Box Orchard House is at the moment by many people the whiskey of the year. And I was watching people recommending it, and Roy at his end of the year stream was like, "Stop! It's very." See, he didn't say stop. It's like, yes, but don't forget, it's very spirit forward. And that's what the problem is there, and that's what the problem is here. And I am not someone who likes spirit forward products. I do not like that young. It's not yet metallic. It's just a little bit shy of being metallic, but it's very, very, very spirit forward. And it's just, and then thinking about it, it's almost 50% more than that, which I just don't get. Yeah, the bourbon cask are the cheap ones. The expensive ones are the wine casks. The expensive ones are the sherry casks, and the cheap ones are the bourbon casks. Why would you actually do that to us, Lindores? Are you trying to cash in? Are you trying to go with the market prices? I really hope not. All right. As I said, C minus D plus, value for money, D. Go buy 2 of these instead of 1 of those. Cost a little bit more, but it's much, much better. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. My question of the day is, what is your favorite new distillery? Is it Nick Need? Is it Annandale? Is it Torabeg? Is it Achnemochen? Is it Lindores Abbey? Is it, I forgot one more here. Kingsbarn is a little bit older. Bimber's older. Yeah, which other ones are out there that have actually had commemorative releases in this year? I don't know. All right, what is your favorite new distillery that you've actually been able to try? And don't say Waterford. They've been out for at least 2 years now. At least it feels like that. All right. Sorry. What is your favorite new Scotch distillery? Waterford. From Ireland. Yeah, it's an Irish distillery in Ireland. It's a Scottish distillery in Ireland, but hey. All right, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much for commenting, and thank you very much for also always here watching and being so faithful. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.